The other part of being retired, which I want to really take advantage of, is the time to invest in my own health and well-being. I played sport a lot in my younger days, and I have a number of sort of chronic bony conditions as a consequence of that, which I want to try and mitigate the negative consequences of that: arthritis, stiffness, all the things which affect people as they age. And Mauritius is a great place to develop a healthy lifestyle, starting with the fact that you can be outdoors every day of the year without thinking, I'm going to have to wrap up, I'm going to have to cover up, because it never gets cold. So because I have a swimming pool at the villa, I can get up in the morning, I can swim a few lengths and then do some pool-based stretching, which is great for hips, knees, back, shoulders, and so on. And being able to start every day with the opportunity to do that is a huge bonus from a health point of view. You can walk to the beach from pretty much anywhere. The coastal communities around the coast, you can walk to the beach. You can walk along the beach, walk in the surf, and walking on soft sand is another great health benefit, apart from the emotional and mental, psychological benefit from being outside in the sun. There's no shortage of natural vitamin D here because the sun shines a lot, something like 300 plus days in any year. So you can get out and get a dose of sunshine, which is obviously good for you. So that linked with going to a gym, there's a number of very good quality gyms here. They are considerably cheaper than the equivalent in the UK, as far as I can recall. So having a gym membership and then a basic healthy lifestyle of walking, swimming, stretching, all of which you can do outdoors is a huge benefit. One of the things that I was not surprised about, because I think there's enough evidence online on YouTube videos and you can read about, is the diet that's available to you here in Mauritius. We're surrounded by sea, so there's plenty of seafood and fish in the shops. There is unusually venison is reared on the island. I happen to love venison, I always have, and because it's local, the venison is very cheap and it's plentiful and it's pretty much available all year round. So venison chops, venison roasts, venison steaks and so on are cheap and plentiful, and it's an incredibly healthy meat. So I'm starting to think, well, maybe once a week my breakfast will be a plate full of venison chops, which would never be available to me in the UK, or certainly not affordable. So that's the sort of tiny factor that I can put into my weekly life, which makes life both healthy and enjoyable. The French influence in the shops is very evident. Most of the big supermarkets seem to have a French origin, which also means that the bread is fantastic because it's typically French. So if you like French breads and French pastries, they're plentiful, very good and very affordable. I also liked the slightly unusual experience of a very seasonal fresh produce. So unlike certainly in Saudi Arabia, where you can get pretty much anything you want, fresh vegetables and fruit all year round, and pretty much the same in the major outlets in the UK, here fruit and vegetables are much more seasonal. So when pineapples are in season, they're cheap and there are loads of them. Similarly with mangoes and papaya, but when they're out of season, you can't get them. So the things which come in from South Africa, for example, typically the hard fruits like pears and apples, they're available on a more or less year-round basis. But local produce is seasonal, and I quite like that because it does mean you can buy the local produce very, very cheaply when it's in season. That, along with salads and very good quality meat, typically coming in from South Africa and Australia. That would be the beef from South Africa and lamb from Australia, is very good. no cheaper than it is in the UK, but it's very good, and you can get it all year round. But the venison is the staple for me, which is, as I say, it's always been one of my favourite meats, and it's available here, and it's plentiful.